Hi everyone. A few days ago I made a post on our website Guerrilla Warfare about making a custom Facebook fan page picture. And I thought, hey, this really kind of pulls the page together, really makes your page look, I think, a lot more professional. It really separates it out from majority of the other pages out there. And when I read it, I did a pretty good write-up of, showing a couple examples and basically thinking why I thought it was a great idea to do. What I absolutely didn't talk about was how to do it, and a couple people on Kindle boards brought that up. I'm like, man, I didn't even think about it, and I thought that's kind of funny because almost every post I make is instructional in nature. Why didn't I do it in this? And I think it's because when we first started Guerrilla Warfare, I tried to do the graphics myself. I made Lizzie's first two ebook covers I made, and they weren't horrible, but they weren't good. And then we actually hooked up with our graphics artist, and they were phenomenal. So I haven't really thought about doing anything graphics yet because mine really pale in comparison to hers. But that said, I really should have shown how to make those. So I'm going to give a real short example. It is probably not going to be pretty because, like I said, I'm not an artist. There's 1,000 things that I'm qualified to advise people on, and making things pretty is not one of them. But I will show this. We're going to be using a program called GIMP, and GIMP is basically a free version of Photoshop, a free equivalent of Photoshop. It's real popular with Linux. A lot of people in Windows use it too. It's one of the most popular, widely used graphics programs in the world. So it's not the most intuitive thing, but we'll cover it real quick. So we've got GIMP started up here. What we're going to do is we're going to File, going to go New, Template. I believe the width was 180 and the height is 540 for our new image. So there we go. Now we've got one the exact size. So let's even save it as GIMP test. Alright. So the first thing we want to do, you probably want to color it. Maybe you want it white. Who knows? So we're going to come over here. You know what? Before I even show that, I'm going to show this right here. The first two things in GIMP. You have three windows. This is your main windows for the where you're going to be working with your image. Over here is your little window for all your little tools to do different things. And over here is your layers. When people deal with Photoshop and GIMP's the same way. As you add in more pictures, background, whatever, they're going to be adding new little layers here. So that way when you modify things, you can modify certain things and not modify the rest. So if you accidentally close this down, you hit X, which at some point, if you use this long enough, you will. You come here to Windows, Recently Closed Docs, and there's the thing we closed. We can open it right back up. So the combination of opening something you closed and then edit, undo, those two things, you'll be absolutely fine. So you save this now. The first thing we're going to do is pick a background color. So we're going to come over here, click on, this is the foreground color, this is the background color. So we double click on the foreground color. Now we're going to pick a color. So you can see on the scale the greens. So we click up here, moves to the different things. Say we want kind of like a, let's go dark bluish maybe. Okay, we're in that range. And now once you're in the range you want, you can click around in here and change the different colors. So let's go for that one there. Okay, so now that's the foreground color. So now we come here to the little paint bucket thing. And the fill type you can see right here is foreground color fill. So since we've got the paint bucket selected, it's filling from the foreground. We come over here, we click that, and voila, we've got that shade over here. If we were to change this to, say, let's go to a little darker one. Okay, now that's the foreground color of the paint bucket. There we go, now it's changed to that. And there's actually, if you look, we can select it from foreground color to pattern fill. There's all sorts of different patterns and textures in here you can mess around with, but this isn't going to be a GIMP tutorial. This is just a real quick down and dirty. So now that we've got the color the way we want it, let's make it look a little bit snazzier. What we're going to do here, we're going to use the blend tool. I'm going to use the edit and undo here too. So we're going to use the blend tool, and you have the opacity here. Let's move it down to 50%. What the blend tool basically is, you bring it over here. You come up to, we'll do top to bottom first. Come up to the top, click down on the mouse, and don't release it. Now we're going to drag it down to the bottom, and when we release it, you'll see it did that nice little gradient type of thing. Texture makes it look a lot smoother, a lot more professional. Undo that. We can go right to left. We can go at an angle. There's all sorts of different things we can do. So we can play around with that, but like I said, this isn't really a GIMP tutorial. If people want me to make more of them, I will, but What's funny is all this stuff I actually learned making Lizzie's first 2 covers. So, okay, so now we've got the background we want. We've saved it, and okay. Now, hey, let's start adding stuff. So the first thing we want to add, let's add a little book cover. So what you do is I've got the 3 examples that I want to use, or pictures that I can use for this in here. So we're going to open up, click on Kira's Moon. Okay, it doesn't matter what this opens up in. We're going to copy it. Come back here to GIMP, edit, and we're going to go down to paste and we're going to paste as a new layer. So over here right now, the only layer we have is background. And we're going to paste a new layer, and boom, there it is, clipboard. If we wanted to get all fancy, we could sit here and rename it to Kira's Moon Cover, whatever. So it's a little too big right now. So we've got that layer selected. And you can see which one's selected by which one's highlighted over here. So we're on the right layer. Going to come here to layer. Going to go scale layer. Right now the width is this and the height is this. Most of you probably know this, but this little chain right here, when it's closed, that means that it fixes the aspect ratio, which means that if we come here and we change the width to 100, you'll watch this change from 350 to 140 because it keeps it proportional. If this chain was unlocked and we changed it to 100, then it would have changed this, the width to 100, but the height would have stayed what it is. Your image can be kind of blurry. It doesn't look good, so you want to make sure this little chain's done. Now we've made this to a smaller size. Let's make it even smaller. Let's go width 50 and see how it does. So width 50, change the height to 70. We click scale, and there we go. Now we've got a small little cover. It's a little smaller than what we'd want, but like I said, I'm not going to try to make this pretty. I'm just trying to give a little example. So now we'll move this down here. Come back here to the Maddie's Oasis, do the same thing. So now you'll see we'll end up adding a 3rd layer in. Paste as, new layer. Scale layer, chain's closed, down to 50, takes that down to 70. Alright, we're going to move this down here. And now let's do a little logo action. So we'll come here. Little house, copy, edit, paste as, new layer, scale layer. This is a little bigger, so we'll leave this as the width 120. Change the height to 123, scale it. Got to come over here to the tools. You can see what I wasn't explaining is we were on the paint bucket before. I clicked on this one right here, which is the move. So we're going to grab this, drag it back onto our thing, and there we go. We've got that. So now it isn't pretty, but it's at least starting to form it. So now if we want to add a little text, once again we come over here to the tools. We'll click on the text tool. By default, the color is the foreground color. That obviously wouldn't work. We wouldn't be able to see it. So let's change the color to, you have different colors in here. Pick the white one. Okay. We have our fonts right here. You can go down and see. Just pick one. Pick this one right here. Okay, the size, whatever. So we got the text, we've got the white color, we've got the font set. So then we're going to come here, drag a box where we want the text. Once that's dropped, this little thing pops up. Lizzie Ford Books. Got it closed. So then too, while it's open, we can come here, increase the size, make the size smaller, change the font if you want to do all the normal things you could do. So that's just save it right here. So there we go. We've got it. Like I said, you can sit here and play with the different gradients, moving stuff around, this and that. Once you get it to how you like it, we'll come here. Instead of save, we'll also do save as. Come down here to the type. Switch it up into JPEG, PNG, whatever you want to do. I usually use JPEG. Then we'll just call it test2.jpg. Actually, we come here and it brings up, it can't handle the flattened image transparency. That's fine. We just click export, click save, and there we go. What I'm going to do real quick too, I'm going to save it to my little example. So we'll do the desktop. Okay, go test to JPEG, export, save. And there we have it right there, ready to upload over to Facebook. And then just the same way you added your picture to Facebook originally, you just add this one instead. It pops right up, and there we go. Like I said, it's not the prettiest thing in the world, but get around with this, play it, experiment with it, and let me know how it turns out. I hope this helps. Thank you.